Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, I'll be profiling for you my Thunder Family deck. This is a deck that I built about 4 months ago and it's a deck that I had heard so many good things about the deck. It's a fun deck to play, it's just an awesome deck, and when I finally looked into the deck and how the deck worked and all the ins and outs of the deck, I said, this is a fun deck that I personally would like to play. So I built the deck about 4 months ago, and I've been testing it out ever since. And I really like the build that I have. I mean, there are cards that you can easily side out in the side deck with it, which I would talk about. But without further ado, let's get to the deck profile. I'll talk about my card choices and all that lovely stuff. So let's get started, guys. So, guys, we have the standard and pretty much the immediate family of 3 Pahander and 3 Mahander. Most of your plays in the deck come from Ma and Pa, normal summoning one, then normal summoning the other, or plays of that nature. I also run 2 Sishunder. In slower formats, Sishunder is better, but in faster formats, when you're going Sishunder to get Thunder Seahorse back, it can be a little bit of a problem, but it's a very good card, and I still love just running 2 Sishunder. So pretty much your immediate family is 3 Pa, 3 Ma, and 2 Sis Hunder. We also run who I pretty much consider the extended family of the Thunder family is 3 Thunder Seahorse. Thunder Seahorse works well with Sishunder, grabbing it back, then searching more cards so you can get more combo plays in your hand to go off later. Thunder Seahorse, because you can't special the turn you activate him, works in good combination with cards like Pod Duality and Kar D. Searching out your deck, drawing cards, thinning, and searching your deck. Such a good combination, and that's one of the reasons why I love this deck to death. So 3 Thunder Seahorse. I really like the deck because of the fact that it does something, and it does something very, very well, which I guess in short is the entire deck. It works very well together. Everything works very well. Next is 2 Valen Prisma. It's your tuner of the deck. It works very well to make Stardust Spark Dragon over here. You can equip it to Stardust Spark Dragon and just go crazy. In combination with, it makes Stardust Spark Dragon pretty much a 35,000 beater that it's very hard to get over. A 3,500 beater to get over. But you can also use them from Scrap Dragon, Crimson Blader, so you can run something over if you're going against a Heraldic type deck. But it's a very, very good card. I love it. Next, I run 2 Kar D. Like I said earlier, it works very well with Thunder Seahorse. It works also well with Pod Duality. Going Pod Duality, then Kar D. You're searching, you're thinning your deck out. That's the main focus of the game, to get your combo plays to your hand so you have more advantage over your opponent in card resources. So 2 Kar D, I love it. I've seen some people run it at 3, but I find 3 to be just a little bit too much to my liking. Next, I run 1 Thunder King and 1 Honest. This rounds out the monster lineup. Thunder King, he's the king of the Thunder family, I guess you could say in a way, but joking aside, he works very well in the deck. He stops your opponent from special summoning. You can negate one of their special summonings. It does sometimes contradict when you can't draw or add cards to your hand outside your normal phase. That does, you can't search, you can't do things like that. Thunder King can be a problem in that respect, but overall, he's a very good addition to this deck. And Honest, pretty much your entire deck is lights except Kar D. So he works very well in this deck, and a majority of your extra deck is lights. So Honest works very well with everybody. Next, I run, for your spells, 3 Pod Duality. Like I said earlier, Pod Duality works well with Kar D, Thunder Seahorse. There's a good, those three different cards work very well together to search and draw. But 3 Pod Duality, very staple in this deck. I really love it at 3. Next, 2 Recycling Battery. A lot of people like running 3 Recycling Battery, but I find 3 to be a little bit too much. Early game, this card's not as good as it is late or mid game. I relate to the card because I play Gravekeepers, and I can say, well, this is kind of like Gravekeeper Stele. Gravekeeper Stele says you can add 2 Gravekeeper monsters back to your hand. Recycling Battery says you can add 2 Thunder type monsters with 1,500 less attack back to your hand. So it's pretty much the same type of card. But like Gravekeepers, you don't run 3 Gravekeepers Stele because it can get very cloggy. That's why I don't run 3 Recycling Battery. Granted, Thunder family does get their cards to the graveyard more quickly, but I still find 2 to be the perfect amount in the deck. And it's always good to recycle your cards. I mean, recycling is good for the planet. It should be good for Yu-Gi-Oh! Next, we run 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. I like the card in general. Very good card. Next is pretty much a player choice, is 2 Smashing Ground. When I'm going into a tournament or a match setting, I usually side these out depending upon the deck I'm going against, but just going against generic decks in general, just like a slew of different decks, the card is very good, I find. So that's why I run 2 Smashing Ground. Just good generic removal, but when I'm going into match play, depending upon the deck I'm going against, I'll side this out for something else. Next, I run 1 Book of Moon and 1 Dark Hole. Dark Hole, amazing card still. Book of Moon, I like the card still, personally. I know everybody doesn't like Book of Moon, but I like it. Next, I run 2 D Prison. I know D Prison is going to 3 and is going to be at 3 soon, but 3 D Prison, that's a little bit too much for me to swallow. I mean, if you want to, go right ahead, but I just find 2 D Prison to still be good. To be enough for me. 2D Prison's enough for me as a player to play. Next, I run 2 Vanity's Emptiness. Card works amazingly well with Stardust Spark Dragon. Just an amazing card. So 2 Vanity's Emptiness. Next, I run 2 Fiendish Chain. I know people prefer Breakthrough Skill right now, but I still like Fiendish Chain because it can stop monsters that are attacking you as well. So it has a dual purpose. So 2 Fiendish Chain. I do run 1 Breakthrough Skill because I do like monster effect negation right now. Next, I do run 1 Wiretap. I may cut Wiretap or I may bump it up to 2. I'm debating it right now. I'm really debating running 2 or just cutting the card. But for right now, I'm just running 1 Wiretap, and it does come in handy. If anything, it's MST bait for my opponent. For your 1F traps, I run Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Torrential Tribune, Solemn Warning. These work very well in the deck in general. Bottomless, Compulse, Torrential, Solemn. On to the extra deck. So in the extra deck, I do not have Exciton Knight, otherwise I would run it in the deck, but I do have a lot of the main extra deck cards I like running. So first off, we run 1 Constellar M7 because we run 2 Constellar Omegas. I really like Constellar Omega. I kind of consider these 3 guys right here to be kind of like your boss type monsters of the deck because they work very well in the deck. So 2 Constellar Omega and 1 M7. Next up, I run 1 Starleash Pile of Dynamo, 1 number 101 Silent Arc Arner's Knight, 1 Black Ship of Corn, and 1 Ragna Zero 103. So Starleash Pile of Dynamo because you're running a lot of lights. I've considered sometimes bumping up to 1, but he's very good at 1. 101, very good card. Black Ship of Corn works very well. Number 103 works very well. So they all have their purposes in the extra deck. Next, I run Photon Papilloperative, Diamond Direwolf. I would replace Diamond Direwolf with Exciton Knight, but I don't own it. 1 Maestroke. I still like Maestroke because you can put him in defensive mode and Book of Moon your opponent's monsters, which personally it can come in handy in some instances. And 1 Gagaga Cowboy. I also won 1 Abyss Dweller as well. So we have Photon Papilloperative, Diamond Direwolf, Maestroke the Symphony Daijin, Gagaga Cowboy, and Abyss Dweller. For your Synchro monsters, I run 3. I run Crimson Blader, Scrap Dragon, and Stardust Spark Dragon. The one I go into the most is Stardust Dragon, followed by Scrap Dragon, followed by Crimson Blader. So that is the Thunder Family deck, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this deck very much. It's a very fun deck to play.